we got breaking news. Joe Budden has been caught, literally caught on camera nude streaking, all right? Well, remember his sleepwalking case? Now, TMZ actually released photos of this actual situation. I remember my initial reaction. I was like, there's probably going to be a video and somebody's probably going to me, extort Joe Budden. Remember my first initial reaction. So I'm going to read to you guys the report real quick. So I'm going to read what TMZ had to say. TMZ said Joe Budden is being dragged into court by two neighbors who claim he tried to enter their place while naked and has been causing a ruckus in the building with his podcast. TMZ Hip Hop obtained a complaint filed by attorney Thomas Marigalano, right, on behalf of John and Yulia Akasoy, who claimed Budden, his podcast co-host Melissa Ford, and the Condo Association have engaged in a campaign of intimidation and retribution after the Okoys raised complaints about the disruption from Budden recording his highly rated podcast in the building. So they also released many photos, well not many photos, but two photos where TMZ has tagged Joe Budden Bucky naked. John and Yulia both claimed they confronted Budden about the excessive noise from the podcast and complained about Budden and Cole smoking weed in the condo's common area, leaving ashes on the property and creating a hazardous health environment for basically their younger daughter. The Okoy said that they even filed a complaint with the Condo Association, leading to Budden firing back and accusing Yulia of making racially charged remarks towards him. They say Budden even doubled down and claimed to have a recording of the alleged racism. John says he called his bluff and told him to produce the audio, which they say still hasn't surfaced. The couple also cites an episode of the podcast from October 19, 2024, which they involved the host deliberately playing loud music and simulated gunshots and sirens lasting for more than 8 minutes. On the same episode, they say Budden referred to the Okoys as the quote-unquote neighbors and dissed Yulia on the podcast. They also say Joe Budden misrepresented his alleged attempt to enter the Okoys' residence while naked on December 4th, as he joked and dismissed the incident publicly. The Okoys included screenshots from a door cam they say show a nude Budden in the hallway. Budden was subsequently temporarily barred from the condo, but they say he returned a week later. Joe's lawyer, Nima Ameri, tells TMZ Hip Hop they believe the lawsuit is little more than a money grab attempt by a person we believe to be a racist. Basically, let's break all of that down. Basically, Joe Budden is being attacked by a quote-unquote a racist neighbor. Now, I don't know if you guys ever been in a suburban area. I don't know also if you guys ever been in a suburban area that's full of whites and you might be the only few blacks there, or it might be just a couple of y'all there. And also if you guys ever remember the song J. Cole Neighbors, right? The neighbors think I'm selling dope, selling dope, selling dope. So basically the reason why I'm bringing up that reference to that metaphor is because the same story happened with J. Cole. He had a bunch of his friends or his guys over, they were in the backyard smoking weed, making music, just enjoying themselves, living life, right? And they're out there thinking that they're drug dealers and gangsters and all of this other stuff. Just everything that they see on TV, they think that every black person is like that. Now, what are the chances that Joe Budden has that type of neighbor? It's pretty high based off of how aggressive they are on this lawsuit. But hey, I can't judge, you know what I'm saying? All I'm here is to basically report what's basically going on. So Joe Budden has been caught literally on video cam, and I guess they have the screenshots of him actually being quote unquote naked. So this is going to be a hell of a week for the Joe Budden podcast, and a hell of a week for a lot of his basically haters like 50 Cent or Drake, who's going to have the most absolute best day, week, field day. And on top of that, Drake is dropping Friday a music video, so I can just see it being very daunting and annoying for Joe Budden. But he's basically being sued again, or he's basically being attacked again by these people, and they actually let out the actual footage. So my first initial thoughts was that he was getting extorted by the people, by the neighbors. That's why he wasn't on the podcast, and he was or stuff was going on around that time, the initial time that it happened. That's what my thoughts were. So now that it comes out later on, I guess since they lost the suit and he had to come back on the podcast and he got to do what he wanted to do, they basically doubled down. They're like, oh hell no, this guy is not going to continue to do this. And then on top of that, he's basically like making fun of us or intimidating us with Melissa Ford. So this is a hot case because not only is Joe Budden implemented, but they're also saying Melissa Ford is also causing intimidation. So I find that wild because I don't know how Melissa Ford is intimidating. That's pretty funny to me. But in any situation, this can get really serious. I don't know how serious it could possibly get, but it could get a little bit because it might threaten the podcast from being actually filmed. But as of right now, he's not going anywhere. And as of right now, I don't think there's anything legally they can possibly do to get him out of there. But they're feeling threatened and intimidated by him using gunshot sounds, sirens, or even being even more loud on purpose and leaving a lot of ashes from weed on purpose. Is that true? Is that not? I don't know. I think they're probably feeling some type of way, Joe Budden podcast, about what happened. So I feel like they probably did do little things to like, oh, haha, we got you, we back, haha, haha. I feel like that might have happened, but I don't think it's enough to just double down and try to do something else or try to get him to basically destroy the podcast or get rid of it or leave. I mean, this is just nasty behavior from, to me, the neighbors who, to me, they want money, but they also want to ruin him in his business. Now, like I said, I don't know what it's like to be a neighbor to a podcast, especially like Joe Budden, who has all of these sound effects and gunshots and sirens. So I can see that being a little annoying if it's 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they're filming, or maybe even 12 o'clock, right? And you probably just trying to go about your day. I don't really know. I really don't know the lifestyle in that area. But boy, they want Joe Budden's head. They want his head. Let me know what y'all did in the comments below. I try to read y'all the report. I try to give y'all some of my initial thoughts. As I get more information, I will make sure to relay to you all. But man, I had to jump to this video. I'm like, damn, they sent the screenshots. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, I thought they were gonna drop the video, right? Initially when it happened, but they waited. Man, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. It's been boy, I think they're back with a banger, man. Wow.